In this section, I am discussing about variables in Java and types of variables in Java. Let's see what is a variable in Java. What is a variable? Any idea about variables in Java? Variables means it's a containers that is used for storing the data values. This variables is actually the names of the memory location. These variables we can assign with a data type. Data later I will tell you how to assign the values and how to declare the variables. We'll see. These variables we have to assign with a data type. That is a variables in Java. It's a containers that is used for storing the data values in Java. That is the use of the variables in Java. What is the types of variables in Java? Types of variables. Two types of variables are there in Java. One is local variables and another one is global variable. Variable declaration. How to declare the variable? This is the format for declaring the variable in Java. Variable declaration int a and semicolon. This is the example int a. Int means data type. We can use any data type, depends upon our application. If it is a numbers, we can use int. If it is a decimal, we will use float. If it is any characters or string, we will use string or character, like that we will use. As of now I am using int a. Next one is variable initialization. How to initialize the variables? We already declared the variable. After that we have to initialize that variables. We have to just assign the value to that declared variable. This is the format as equal to 5. Let's see both how to use declaration and initialization. This is the format for using the declaration and initialization together. Int as equal to 5 semicolon. Int is a data type, as equal a is the variable name, and equal to is a assigning this 5 to a. That is the symbol, assign symbol only. Here we are using this equal to and semicolon, end of this statement. Here this is the variable. This is used, this variable is used for containing this value 5. Next one is local variables. What is a local variable? Local variables we have to declared inside a method, and this variables are only visible or only accessible inside this declared method only. We can't use outside of the declared method, or that is not accessible outside of the declared method. And another thing in the local variable is these local variables we have to initialize. We should initialize this local variables, mandatory to initialize. If we are not initializing, while it is later if we are using that one, we will get compilation error. So before we are using the local variable, so we have to initialize the local variables. That is the mandatory thing, mandatory to initialize the local variables. Next one is global. What is a global? If we are declaring a variable as a global, if we are declaring any variable as a global, means that is declared outside the method and inside of that particular class. outside of the method but inside the class, that is accessible anywhere inside that declared class, and that is not mandatory to initialize the global variables. If we initialize, means Java will take that initialized given value, else Java will take the default value. This global variable has another two partitions. Global variable is two types, instance and static. Instance and static it is there. Let's see what is instance. Why it is called instance. Instance specific means they are object specific. That's why that is called instance variables. That is object specific. That's why that is called instance variables. These instance variables are declared outside the method and inside of the class. We are not using static keyword with instance variables. So that instance variables are accessible anywhere inside the declared class. Anywhere inside the class. Next one is static variables. What is static variables? Static variables are declared with the static keyword, and the static variables are initialized only once at the start of the program execution. At the start of the program execution, and the static variables also same like instance variable, we are declaring outside the method and inside of the class. So that variable is accessible anywhere inside the class. And the static variables are created when the program starts and destroyed when the program stops that execution. That is the lifetime of the static variables. And this is the example program of static variables, instance variables and local variables. So this is the static variable that is declared with the static keyword, and this is the instance variable, no need of static keyword. And another example is the local variable that is declared inside the method. Next topic I am discussing about casting in Java. What is casting? Casting means changing one data type to another data type. That is called casting in Java. Two types of casting is there. One is widening, another one is narrowing. These are the two types of casting in Java. First we can discuss what is widening. Widening means if lower data type value is stored in higher data type variable, that is called widening. See, if we are converting from short to int to long, these are the widening. We are converting the data type from lower data type to higher data type, int to long, short to int, byte to int. These are the examples of widening. See, this is the one example of widening. Short, this is the data type short. S1 is a variable is equal to 5. This short data type variable I am storing into int data type variable. I is a int variable. I am storing from short to int. This is the example of widening. Next one I am discussing about what is narrowing. Narrowing means if we are storing higher data type values stored in lower data type variable, that is called narrowing. Narrowing is explicit in nature. Widening is implicit in nature. Narrowing means if higher data type values are stored in lower data type variable. Lower data type, higher to lower, that is narrowing. See, if we are storing from int to byte, int to short, long to int, these are the examples of narrowing. So higher or bigger data type values are stored into lower data type variable. This is the example of narrowing. Int is a data type, I is a variable, 10 is stored in I, and next one is byte I declared b is equal to, I am storing this int I variable to byte. So int is higher than byte. This int variable I am storing into byte data type b. This is the conversion. This is the example for narrowing. That's it about casting in Java.